Hello and welcome back to Proper Punters for another week, sponsored by CrossBet. I'm with Aaron Macey, professional punter, and Glyn Schofield, ex-jockey. Guys, how are we?
Very well.
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
So we've obviously had Darcy throughout the week call out Curtis Scott for a boxing fight. Glyn's just called out Mace. What's going on there, guys? Bit of beef to start the show.
He's like, I'm light, but that's a different weight level.
I just said I wanted to smack his face, but I'm unbeaten in my fighting career because I've never had a fight.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's my claim to fame.
So what are we getting you on the undercard for the Curtis Scott Darcy Lussick fight
Yeah,
or what?
why not?
Aaron reckons he can, fight.
Let me just say, whoever's favourite will get beat.
So you can fight?
No, I can't fight.
No, okay.
All right. Let's go and look back throughout the week. We've had a pretty decent week, especially you, Aaron. Obviously, in terms of the betting for you this week, 6 from 7 bets all coming through. How good is that? How good's that?
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good when you're seeing them well, and racing's funny. And Glyn knows, I think, even if you're a punter or a jockey, it does go in waves and runs, and you kind of need to know when. But luckily, seeing them well at the moment, honestly, I didn't have the best spring. Spring's usually my best time of year, and since we've come back in the new year, I've tweaked a couple of things, and I'm having a bit of luck.
So I think those boys in the Discord are really scoring, eh?
Unlike actually someone on the other couch who has yet to, I believe, get a multi home. I think someone might be wearing this hat later, but we'll talk about that when we get to the NRL segment.
That thing's giving me bloody severe PTSD, I'll tell you that for free. But you are going to get exclusive bets like that if you do go ahead and join the Discord. So the link should be on the story still, on the Instagram story. So click the link, it'll be in the bio as well, and join the Discord if you haven't already. It is fastly growing, so make sure you don't miss out. And it's free. It's free as well. You can get a free trial version or there's a paid version as well. But the free trial version, you get exclusive bets from Aaron, from myself about NRL as well. It is a great start, especially if you aren't looking to pay just yet for the Discord. Let's get into some of your other successes as well. Aaron, last week you had drifting from Rosehill Race 3. You've come first. That horse came first. That horse won. So congratulations to the punters that got on that one. Airman came third as well. Obviously, when we do our best bets, they are to place. So both of those bets would have come off. That was in Rosehill Race 6. As I said.
Well, thank you, CrossBet.
Yes, thank you, CrossBet. And Glyn, obviously your lock, shock and knock from last week. Your lock was Wymark. Obviously came first in Rosehill Race 2 as well.
Just quickly, isn't that a horse that's turned a corner?
Well, it's just every time I think in the race analysis, I think I said every time they've stepped it up in distance, it's just one, and it stepped it up again, it won it. So it's just a progressive, and those progressive stayers, they just keep getting better. So it's a horse to earmark for some better races.
Queensland Derby horse?
Very possible, very possible.
I tell you what's something sickening, typical punter want to talking about his unlucky blows. I bet up on that horse each way its first start.
Have you ever had an unlucky blow?
A couple, actually. I remember a horse called Egyptian Symbol that someone gave a sore back one day.
Don't go there.
Oh, trust me, it hurt me more.
Oh, God.
No, but do you know what horse it ran into on debut? Militarise. Market Canterbury. It ran third. It was only 2-place dividends. It was almost unlucky not to win, but definitely should have ran second. But
so here's the thing
fact.
about placement of horses. This is where training, anyone can get a horse fit, but training horses is an art. And placing that horse the way they've placed him has allowed him to win the races. He could easily have lined up in some better quality races and been outclassed, but he's probably going to progress.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job.
Correct. He could be lining up in any one of these races over the carnival, and he hasn't.
Yeah.
So well done to the Freedmans, is it?
Yes, which I've had at times thought they haven't been the best at placing horses, but they've certainly got this one
previously.
Right. At times, not always.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Glyn can pick horses to win, but he can also pick horses to lose. Your knock obviously got up as well. If you want to know any horses to avoid, make sure you go speak to Glyn. Gatsby,
I'm glad I'm not riding anymore.
Yeah, a few people find this very amusing, but Glyn's lays so far, you have yet to lay a winner.
Lay a winner? I mean,
yeah.
So horses I don't like haven't won.
Have not won yet.
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to tip a horse that can't win than one that can.
Definitely.
So there's only one winner, but there's lots of losers.
Yep.
One of them, Imperatriz, is running this weekend. again.
Well, I think we're about to kick off in there,
Yeah.
so let's go in.
Let's get straight in. Melbourne Race 8, the William Reid Race. Glyn, a question for you. Obviously, you were right to to go against Imperatrice down the straight last short.
Yeah.
Can we see a bounce back?
Ordinarily, you'd say yes. She's I'm against her again.
Wow, knocking a champion twice.
She is a champion. I'm against her. I'll tell you why. The William Reid is run. It used to be run on a Friday night, they've now got an extra day. But I remember Peter Moody telling me, I think, and I compared Imperatrice to the Great Black Caviar last weekend.
Or last start. And you're ready to do it again.
And I'm about to do it again. I remember him telling me that when she won the William Reid after winning the Newmarket.
Yeah.
So the same program that Imperatrice follows. She really struggled to win the William Reid because the Newmarket took so much out of her because it was the handicap conditions and she was at the top of the weight scale, and she had to really dig deep and struggle to win that race. And then she obviously won that and then came out and won the William Reid, but she struggled. Fast forward that a couple of years, I think he bypassed the Newmarket, went from the Lightning straight into the William Reid, and she won by 4 or 5 lengths.
Could she have been a better horse then, though?
She could have been, but she could have been a better horse because Peter placed her better, or trained. So what I'm trying to say is, Imperatrice has got beaten in the Newmarket with a big weight, which I thought she would have.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to find it equally hard to bounce back, even though she's back to weight for age conditions and she's receiving weight from the males. I think she's going to find the race as difficult because of the exertions she's had in the Newmarket. She could be the best horse in the race. She's drawn wide. Mm-hmm. She doesn't map well. And I think the horse that beat her in the Newmarket will probably win again. And that's Cylinder, the Godolphin Cylinder. He's drawn 1. He receives weight from her, not as much, but he's going to get a much more economical run. And I think he could probably show her a clean pair of heels again.
You think you can do it again?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not a race I'll be betting in. Definitely not a race I'll be betting in. Do I have her on top? Yes, I think going back to the bend. It'd be interesting to see if the track bias is on the day. Very, very intrigued. And it'll be interesting to see how they ride. What do you think they push forward from the wide gate?
Well, I always believed that her most dominant win was when she went to the front.
That day at the Valley.
We were all a bit concerned where she was going to get up. I think it was a second up run. Anyway, she went to the front and she won by 3 or 4 lengths. So
but there is a fair bit of pace in this race.
There's a lot of speed in the race. So what do they do? Do they take their medicine, go back and hope that Cylinder gets boxed in from barrier 1?
I always am of the belief in a race with a lot of pace, you have a far greater opportunity of giving it a little bit of time to get in.
Correct.
Because when they do walk, everyone just sits in and goes, "Go fuck yourself." When they are going fast, they do spread out. And they eventually get the slide in. She'll get that slipstream. Look, do I want to back her at the price? No. Do I have her on top? Yes. Do I have Cylinder second pick? Yes. And do I have Iron Me third? Yes. That's pretty much it from me. I think the champion can bounce back. I'm glad that they scratched King's Gambit because I don't think he goes Melbourne way of going. And we'll talk about him later. But yeah, that's pretty much a wrap from me for the William Reid, and I'm pretty excited to get up to the 5 Group 1s. What about you?
Well, Sydney racing with the 5 Group 1s, and we start off with, what did we start off with? Where are we?
We start off with the Ranvet. The Ranvet?
Yeah, Ranvet.
Excellent.
Not the Ravet.
Yes, as you put in your notes. Big Les learning racing.
Yeah, the Ranvet, what a great race. There's a couple of horses in here that really intrigue me that we haven't seen before.
We'll go into it because I haven't been able to find the 2 runs of the overseas horses. What can you enlighten us?
Okay, so we're talking about how do you pronounce them? Via
Sistina. That was a difficult one.
Via Sistina, and of course,
thank fuck it's not me that's just having the pronunciation.
So they're both owned by Yulong, who spent a lot of money buying these 2 mares. Via Sistina ran in the Champion Stakes at Royal Ascot or Ascot. And drawing a line through some collateral form that we have in Sydney was Dubai Honour, who won the what did it win last?
The Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth. and absolutely brained them. Brained Animo, brained the best horses we had.
He made Animo look second rate.
And
how did this horse finish to Animo?
This horse,
Via Sistina,
beat Dubai Honor by 6.5 lengths.
And J-Mac got the ride. God, he just has a knack of
trained by Waller.
It's amazing how he does it.
So look, if you take a collateral form line through Dubai Honor, then you have to say that it's virtually unbeatable.
Wow. Smack bang, there it is.
Has not trialled in Australia publicly. I'm tipping that Chris Waller has definitely given her a trial privately at home. There's no way in the world he's going to run a horse first up over 2,000 metres in a Group 1 race like the Ranvet for such great clients like Yulong who spend untold amounts of money.
It's so weird that he hasn't trialled it.
Well, do you know what? Rosehill was closed for a period of time. They have the
jump outs.
They have Rosehill's closed because they have the caravan show or the pool, the swimming pool and whatever show. So the track actually itself is closed for trials, but they have private ones in the morning.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm tipping that she's had a couple of private jump outs or trials that aren't televised, and she's primed to go. If she runs anything like her overseas form, she just wins.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot of rain in Sydney. We've had it's pretty cool at the moment, so the tracks aren't going to dry out. If there's moisture in the ground, it's going to stay there for Saturday. Wet or dry, it doesn't worry her. I just think I'm gonna take a punt that she's right and ready, and if half of her form comes right and is evident, she just wins.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's just do the race without those two.
Okay.
Who is Think It Over your next pick?
We're talking about those two. We're talking about Plus de Carousel because she ran well down the field in the Arc, which is one of the best races in the world.
Yeah.
So same ownership group, but I have to really stick with.
So you're sticking with Via Sistina. I'm just saying, forgetting those two runners in the race, out of the Sydney horses, the horses that we actually have seen, without guessing,
it's only one horse.
Think It Over.
Think It Over. There's only one horse that's really a contester.
What about Buckaroo?
Yeah, he was a horse that I sort of earmarked for an improver.
I loved the run, and I thought the trial between runs was exceedingly good.
So he could be an improver, but he doesn't have anywhere near the form
of Think It Over.
No, of Via Sistina.
Yeah, Via Sistina. But Glyn, you were very horny for Via Sistina.
Well, you know what? You got to be cautious because I was all over alcohol free in the spring too, and it's still doing a race.
Yeah, that's true.
Same ownership group, but a lot of money spent on this quality mare, and I'm tipping that it's not here just for the sunshine and roses.
All right, beautiful. Let's move along.
Yeah, let's go now to the Rosehill Guineas, the 3-year-old stayers. Is anyone beating Riff Rocket here?
I've got him top pick, but I think we've both landed on the horse that's unbeaten, and I genuinely think this could be the one horse in the race that can beat him. Immediacy.
Yeah. I think we both were convinced, and I think we were, to a certain degree, we were both right, to question the 3-year-old form out of the Randwick Guineas, or going into the Randwick Guineas. There was a length and a half between the whole lot of them.
Yeah.
The winner was 3 wide the trip, no cover.
Correct.
Got his nose in front on the line.
The one thing I'll say about him, I feel
legend.
He's still on more of an, in my opinion, he's on more of an upward trajectory
than the rest.
And he's just that little bit lightly, a little bit more lightly raced. I think Les has just taken that little bit more time with him. His win was great. I don't want to take too much away from what's that.
I've actually taken a bit more time with him. That's right.
Not big Les.
He was wide. His win was phenomenal, but considering he was wide without covering that race, it was very gutsy for a horse like him. And he's obviously going to be targeted at the Doncaster.
Donny, yeah. 49 kilos in the Donny. Make sure you tune in for that show.
Yeah, he'll be extremely hard to beat. So just quickly on this, immediacy. Its last win in Caulfield was breathtaking. I just love he's just got that action. Some horses just have that real strong action. He's just striking at the floor. And he showed like a really good acceleration for a horse that's over 1,800.
He's had 3 runs. He started off, I think, in the provincial grade. Then he went to Sandown midweek, which is a track similar to Rosehill. It's got a lot of room, gives them a chance to balance up and go.
Yeah.
and then he had a bit of a spell, and he's won as he liked, pretty much.
Well, not a spell, but a little break. But
at Caulfield, over, and I'm tipping he's going to get to Rosehill. He's going to love the open spaces there.
Yeah,
a little bit of cut in the ground. I really, really, really like the way this horse has improved. Run on run, he's unbeaten. Trent and Natalie Young, Trent Bussard and Natalie Young, they obviously know how to train a good horse.
And they've had a little bit of luck when they've brought horses to Sydney.
Got a good horse, yeah.
I think they've got a really nice horse here.
I think something we must be said out of the Rosehill Guineas, whilst we did question the quality of those horses going into it, and of course immediacy comes out of a different form line, two horses that stood out like a sore thumb, or two sore thumbs, were Tom Kitten and NCAP that had absolutely no luck in the run.
They did have no luck in the run. Yes, he's a horse that's better suited up to 2000, Tom Kitten. And he does get, this one thing that I do love is Hugh Bowman on 3-year-old stayers. I think he is an absolute freak at riding horses over a 3-year-old young horses over a staying trip. If he got clear room, I still don't think Tom Kitten wins that race. I think it almost might have flattered his run a little bit that he was held up. But yeah, the extra distance will definitely suit him here. He's a chance. I want to just double play it. Immediacy and Riff Rocket, they're the two that I want to play in the race. I'm happy to equal stake and hope for the latter.
Riff Rocket, we haven't touched on him in depth, but he's obviously a quality animal. There's nothing you can knock about any of his runs.
You go back to that last start. I think we both kind of wanted to oppose him due to where he was on the map. I think I backed a V8 each way in the race.
And he ran third.
And he ran third, yeah. So he was... This horse wasn't suited in the run. He got out late. The track bias on the day didn't suit him. He's going to be much better suited here. And if you go back and look at his run third up last time at Flemington, I think he won by 5 lengths or something.
Yeah,
he absolutely walked in.
Mm.
So if he can reproduce his third up form from last prep, he's going to take a stack of beating.
Yeah. Look, I think stepping out to a more of a classic distance, up to 10 furlongs, 2,000 metres, I think we're going to see maybe a little bit. In the Rosehill Guineas, there was only a length and a half between or maybe 3 lengths. There's a horse that I fancy as a bit of a roughie. He was beaten 3 lengths. That's Cosmic Lad. But you could have thrown a blanket over all of them. There wasn't much between them. Some unlucky runners, some horses that cover ground, which was the winner. He's not here, which is Celestial Legend.
Yeah.
And I'm still firmly in the camp of immediacy. He has got so much improvement in him. I think he's obviously now got a campaign against horses he hasn't. He's got to turn right-handed, which he hasn't done before. I don't think the ground, if it's softish, it's going to worry him at all. I think he's my horse. Riff Rocket, without doubt, the definite danger. Tom Kitten will not be far away. And if there is going to be any sort of blowout, I'm going to tip Cosmic Lad. I think I love the way he went back in the Rosehill Guineas.
100 to 1.
100 to 1. He went back in the Rosehill Guineas. He won from the front his previous start. He wants to over-race.
So I think maybe boxing up the 4 of them in little trifecta could be a little play for you.
Cosmic Lad also could be a horse to keep an eye on if he settles and runs home strong. He may not be threatening the race, but he could be a horse for the Derby.
Mm-hmm. Could be also Derby. There we go, one for early.
Well, let's move now to the time-honoured George Ryder. What have we got for this one?
Well, we look at the top of the market and the top of the saddlecloth and think about it. A lot of people wanted to bag poor little Sammy Clipperton for his ride. What did you make of it? When you first looked at it, I know you weren't overly impressed.
I'll give you my take. Okay, so as a jockey, and I think we in the show, I said Sammy's got the utmost confidence in the horse. He'll just jump out and ride the horse, not the race. And, of course, he jumped out and he was drawn the widest.
Yeah.
He jumped out and dropped him in behind second last. And the speed was that slow. I'm sure Sam thought if they sprint and leave him behind, he's vulnerable, over 1,300 first up. So he elected to slide mid-race. And what he did was he slid mid-race. And I can't knock the ride at all. He did the right thing.
I don't even think he was I don't even know if it was definitely a decision. The horse was pulling so hard, he pulled himself, and Sammy just let him go.
So what happens is when you okay, he's back in behind with cover.
Yeah.
Okay. When you pop the horse to the outside to show him daylight and the speed is slow, a horse doesn't know He can't read the distance. He can't read the 800 meter mark. He's been told, here's daylight, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So the horse has now decided to go, and Sammy just would ideally have loved the horse to have just idled up conservatively and then been there to pounce at the top of the straight. But I think what the horse has done is because he's fresh, first up 1300.
He was fresh as fuck.
That's why he was over racing.
He was over, but he was over racing behind. You could say Sammy was like, I don't want to come up this horse's ass. He's
damned if he sits behind and they sprint for home and they leave him flat-footed, and he's damned if he produces the horse and he knocks up, which is exactly what happened. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I don't think Sam's done anything wrong. I think he's ridden the race and possibly not the horse at that point in time. Had he been second up, he probably just wins it.
Yeah.
Now he's got to go to 1500 second up after a tough run first up. He's drawn wide again. I think he's got a lot to do. He's got a lot to turn around and a lot to improve.
Yes,
I'm talking about the horse, not Sam.
Yeah, of course. It's a tricky one. He's just such a bloody good horse, and he's such a big field. He's drawn barrier 17, so he hasn't drawn a marble again. He's going to need to find. Look, if you go 400 meters or 600 meters in this race, and he's 3 wide with cover, do you think he's going to be running into this race?
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
So, do you want to be gambling at the $3.80 mark? Probably, maybe not. I don't know. This is a race that's got a bit of a long tail. I think there's some genuine hopes in this. I think he's the best horse in this race, and I think
he's not the best horse. He's the best horse by far.
By far, and I think if he has taken improvement, if he doesn't race as fresh, and if that run did not take too much, just the last 100 meters, I'm thinking it was because he's completely gassed, and I think it was a gutsy effort. I definitely want to forgive him. I definitely think he can win. He isn't I'm not tipping him all in. Once again, it's a race. I'd kind of want to see what map patterns are like on the day, track patterns, and just see where it is. But there's a few horses. What did you make of the run of Kovalika and New Energy?
Well, New Energy was without doubt a big eye catcher.
Massive eye catcher.
Much weaker opposition.
Yep.
But when you look at the run, they came in the straight and he was flat-footed, was going nowhere. He actually lost ground to the field, and then you lose sight of him and you look at different horses, and then at the line...
He just picked a bit up.
Bang, he's right there. So he's only up in distance slightly.
If you go back just 2 starts ago, he ran third in a race sponsored by Les, the Owenstown Stakes.
Yeah, sponsored by me.
Owenstown.
Yeah, there's a lot to like about the horse. He draws soft.
Second up in Australia.
He doesn't draw soft. He's drawn 16, so he's going to have his work cut out for him. Look, there's only one good horse, like really, really good horse in the race that has a lot to find, and that's Think About It. He's drawn wide. He's going.
What do you make of the 3-year-olds militarized up?
He should have won the Guineas. The run he had.
Yeah. I just think he might have got beaten by a horse that could end up being a better horse.
Yeah, possibly. But he had every right to win the Randwick Guineas. He had the softest run possible. He had the favorite or the winner that ran 3 wide the whole way outside him. He pushed him out at the 500. McDonald pushed Celestial Magic out to get a run, and then they went through the 300 at the top of the rise together, and then Celestial Magic put a half length on him. Celestial Legend put a half length on him, and he was a little bit plain for my... It was second up.
Could have been second up flats.
Could have been second up flats. He's third up. Interestingly, Waller has decided to run him in the George Ryder and not against his own age group.
And not the 2000.
In the 2000 Rosehill Guineas, possibly for the fact he may not run the distance. I don't know what they're thinking. But the horse that
he's going to be another horse I think he's going to
is V8.
His last run when he ran second, as I said, I tipped him each way in the Guineas. He mapped well. I just don't know if he completely runs out a mile. Like he looked
1500.
No, but this is my point. So, and I think you would attest to a Randwick mile. even though it's only 100 metres more than 1,500 at Rosehill,
it's a different race.
It's like 300 extra metres.
It's a different race.
So horses that don't just miss out on running the mile at Randwick or the mile at Flemington, I think are a lot better suited coming to the 1,500 at Rosehill.
I agree with that.
This is a horse that looks to map well. I love Damien Lane as a jockey. I love when he comes to Sydney. This is a horse, so I think it's got a lot of favours. I think it's got a massive chance. I think him as the each-way play in the race, and I definitely want to have it on the horse, Les's horse. What was it? New Energy?
New Energy.
Yeah, I could definitely have something on him at the price, but I think V8 each way is the way that I want to go here.
I've got a lot of time for V8. I love the way he's performed against older horses at weight for age. He's drawn relatively soft, so he's going to get a good run.
He's a horse that's got tactical pace, and he hasn't got a blistering turn of foot, but he has a turn of foot, so he can pick up and sprint, which I
don't know if he's got a turn of foot. He's got a sustained run.
Well, a sustained run, but that's what I mean. Like he does have a sprint. It isn't an electrifying sprint, but he does have a sprint.
I am very, very keen to see how NCAP runs. As I said in the Randwick Guineas, he had no luck. For mine, he was probably the most unlucky horse in the race. He comes here, he's drawn soft. Blake Shin rides. I don't think there's many riding in better form than him.
He's riding well.
So I have to think about it as a risk for me. Second up, tough run first up, drawn wide, has never won at the trip, even though he won the Stradbroke over 1,400, which is probably equivalent to a Rosehill 1,500. I am going to go with either V8 NCAP to probably be the horse to beat.
In saying that, we think about it, he always looked like a horse that was going to be a miler.
Yeah.
And it was his last prep, he was set for the Everest, which he did win, and he was trained for that. Pre that, I was surprised that was where he was going. I always thought of him as a horse that was going to become a miler. He's by So You Think. Well, yeah, I definitely won't be discounting Think About It, but I think V8 each way. That's my play.
Okay.
All right, well, let's move straight to the slipper then. Can anyone beat the unbeaten Storm Boy? Is it possible?
Well, I'm going to put this out to James Harron. Please scratch Bodyguard and please run Espionage because I'm on him at a worse price than what he currently is. But
it's what a race. I mean, I don't think I've seen such a competitive slipper. Gay Waterhouse holds the key. Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott, I should say.
Yeah.
Hold a major key in this race.
They've got 7 runners, including the emergency in Espionage.
They've drawn 1, 2, 3. Whatever they 1, 2, 3.
Is this a conspiracy? Have I got a conspiracy theory coming?
It's a great thing to have your horses drawn soft in a slipper. But you know what? It's an interesting stat I read. It's not my stat. I haven't found it. I read it. That 31 of 35 slipper winners have been beaten going into the slipper. So and your favourite and second favourite are both unbeaten. So in the last 35 years, only 4 slipper winners have been unbeaten going into the race.
But surely that would be the more common because obviously it's very hard to stay unbeaten.
So what I'm trying to say is both Storm Boy and Switzerland are both unbeaten.
I understand that.
So I'm all over Storm Boy. I love the appointment of Ryan Moore. You know, Gay's horses all love to jump and run.
Surely it's a real weird pick from Coolmore to say Ryan Moore's on this horse when you've got... Well, J-Mac's ridden him every start.
No,
sorry, not every. His last...
He's only ridden him his last start.
Oh, it was only his last start. Sorry, I thought it was his last 2 starts, but no, it was only 1. No, okay, I'd take that back. Scratch
He did come out and ride Shinzo last year in the slip and won.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I don't really, watch racing too much, but I backed Shinzo in the slipper last year and got that one home, so that was quite good.
Thanks for your input, Les. That was great.
And Ryan gave that.
That was awesome.
And Ryan gave that it was the ride of the day that won the slipper.
It was. All right, so let's go Storm Boy.
Right,
we start here. Where does he go? He's in Barrier 2. He has led or sat second predominantly
every race he's run.
But the stablemate have got more early pace than him.
Okay.
Surely he doesn't lead here.
Well, Ryan Moore is not bound or sucked into the Gay Waterhouse style of jockey's riding. Gay will obviously want him to ride the horse in a certain way, which is his run style. But if there's more tempo than Ryan is comfortable doing, he will take a sit. There's no more confident jockey or more able jockey than Ryan Moore in the world. He's not number one jockey in the world for the last 4 or 5 years as a fluke. So he will ride the horse, not the race. If the pace is too strong for it, if the horse jumps out and wants to lead and he's there comfortably, he will be there. If he's not that quick and there are other runners quick enough, Ryan will take a sit. And this horse, if the tempo is mad fast, which you would really expect this race to be, because there are many, many horses in the race that have got natural front running speed.
Do you know, I don't know if did you watch the track gallop between races the other day with Storm Boy and whatever?
Yeah.
It was almost like they were trying to teach him how to sit behind a horse and switch off. And I know it's just a track gallop and there's just 2 horses on the track.
But there's a reason why it was sitting in behind.
The way that he sat behind it, up until I saw him do that, I was like, I think this horse could be the risk in the slipper. But when I saw him do that, I went... And then when he drew this gate, as long as he's sitting, and I think he will, he showed enough pace to put himself there to hold a position. As long as he doesn't miss the kick, which I don't think he will do, he's going to probably be sitting 3rd, 4th, 5th.
He'll be in the first 4 or 5.
He'll be there. He will be.
And so will the rest of Fully Lit's drawn outside him. It's got speed.
No, inside him.
Inside him, sorry. And then Shangri-La Express is outside him.
Yeah.
So there's automatic speed that he can judge what's going to happen.
And then Straight Charge will push straight forward from barrier 9. Tim won't. There's no other way that horse will go anything but straight.
Straight Charge, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Straight Charge will go straight forward. Shangri-La goes there, Fully Lit. Probably, equally as quick.
Lady of Camelot's another one. Dawn 5, it rolls forward.
She rolls forward. Her trial between runs was exceptional. I've said this here, I didn't think any of the fillies could beat any of the colts. She's probably the one that can. Yes, she's in the market. I didn't. Fuck, her run in Melbourne in the Blue Diamond was huge.
It's hard to run Blue Diamond, Golden Slipper consecutively and be at your top for both, because they're both grand finals. But
she's one that I definitely want to bet around, but once again, she's probably, in my opinion, the best filly in the race.
Okay, we haven't spoken about Switzerland, the second favourite.
Last start, I was keen on Espionage and him. I was worried about Espionage from the gate, and that transpired exactly as we hoped it didn't. Switzerland got run of the race. He's a horse that maps perfect. I've been in love with this horse ever since I've seen it. I love the way he fought his second win. I loved his explosive win first up, and the win last start was exceptional. And he's drawn to just get the absolute perfect run. I think Coolmore hold the keys to this race. I think they run 1-2. I can see a Coolmore Quinella.
Well, Coolmore own an interest in Stormboy.
Well, so they don't own the whole lot, but yeah, they don't own the full lot, but they.
And I'm sure it cost them a fair penny to do that.
It cost them a lot.
Look, there are many other horses in this race that have got great credentials. I mean, your Blue Diamond winners here.
I think I like the run of Prost behind Stormboy.
It was actually, to be fair to Prost, he was taking ground off Stormboy late last start.
But I do think he had half switched off. But he was definitely taking ground. And out of Gay's runners, aside from Stormboy, he's going to be one of the ones that's going to be hitting the line late. I want to make mention of 2 other quick horses that are going to be at pretty decent odds. Traffic Warden, who was exceptional last start, winning the VRC Sires. And your son Chadley, I love the way this horse hit the line. I love the application of blinkers. It's going to need a little bit of... I know he's coming from probably second-tier form, but I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them filling one of the placings at the big odds.
Yeah, well, he's drawn
Because I do think they are going to go blistering quick.
And you'll get a spot.
And they could get... they'll get a spot, and I do think these 2 horses will be... I love, because they're coming back from 1400, they will be climbing over the top of them late.
Well, one thing about the slipper, you want a horse that's going to finish through the line, because it's going to be a really, really strongly run race, I think. And I think you need a lot of depth, and you need some horse.
Should we quickly just touch on Coleman? And
yep,
it was a far better run last start than it was clearly in the Blue Diamond. He settled a lot better, and he hit the line a lot better.
Yeah, but I don't think doubling down is the right form. I know he's drawn wide.
I don't think it did. I don't want to go with either of these runners. I just want to get your opinion.
Yeah, it did run a much better race, but it was the last chance to get in. It was last Saturday. They're backing up. I'm a little bit reluctant to go on.
I'm just going to throw it out one more time. Please scratch Bodyguard for Espionage. Thank you. Because I do think if Espionage was to get in the race, he's a horse that could map ideally. But yes, I'm going with the Coolmore Quinella.
Yeah, I'm all over Stormboy. I just really think Stormboy.
I'm Stormboy Espionage. Yeah. Espionage Stormboy.
All right, well, let's finish up with Galaxy.
Hang on a second. You said Coolmore Quinella. Yeah. Espionage is not Coolmore.
No. He's not in the race. Switzerland.
You said Espionage.
I said if he got in the race, he could run a cheeky race.
So Stormboy, Switzerland. Yeah,
I think they will run 1-2. I genuinely do. I think they will sit in a similar position. They're going to go bounce out, and they will fight out the finish.
See, what do we say at the start of the episode, guys? A lot of tension here. That fight on the undercard, it's not too far away. I'll tell you that for free. Let's finish up with the Galaxy. Obviously, some speedsters in this race we've got to talk about. What are we thinking for this one?
This is an interesting race. I like it. I think there's a bit of value. I've made one of the horses in the race one of my better bets of the day. But in saying that, I'm going to be backing 2 runners in the race. That runner is, and we'll start off with, Aft Cabin. So last start in the Challenge Stakes. I labelled Private Eye, laid the day, second run at 1,000.
Yeah.
I found Passive Aggressive, which came out and did the job. Very happy that she did the job. Thank you. I don't want to be on her here, though. In that race, I also said there's a horse that I expect to be running home really well off its trials, and we'll find 1,000 that little bit too short. That horse is Aft Cabin. He just got held up at a vital stage. I don't think he would have beat the winner, but I think he would have finished that little bit closer. I think the step up to 1,100 second up is absolutely ideal. He's won second up in the past. I think he goes even better if there was a little bit more rain. That would have been ideal. But I think the little bit of the cut out of the track suits. I think this horse is flying, and I have a little inkling of a suspicion that the blue horses are just starting to come good right at the right time. And then I want to make mention of one other horse in this race, and that's King's Gambit. I was a little bit against him first up in the Oakley Plate due to the fact of him being Melbourne way of going. I just genuinely believe this horse does not like going Melbourne way of going. He was first up last time. He ran third at Flemington, didn't like it. He came out and absolutely put them away like you would not believe in the Roman Consul. He's once again hasn't been beaten too far, but a little bit of a lackluster run. Caulfield way of going. I think this horse with 50 kilos on his back, drawn softly. I don't think he wants to be ridden too up there. I think Jamie just needs to let him relax, wait for the run, and then let him sprint. And with 0 kilos on his back, he's like at 50 kilos. This is a horse that will be hitting the line. He's around the $14 mark. They're the 2 horses I want to back. And I think Osmosis has a chance, but you can't be on all of them. So they're my 2 runners.
Okay. Very interesting race.
Extremely interesting race.
This race is pretty much a lottery every year.
No, I just gave you the 2 answers.
Such a big field. You've got lightweight runners. There's speed to burn. You've got horses getting held up left, right, and centre every year. Where to look?
Crazy race, isn't it?
I was leaning towards Sunshine in Paris.
Until what?
I watched her 2 trials.
They weren't her usual trial form.
I saw her 2 trials before she won first up last prep, and she got beat in both trials, but they were behind much better.
But they were better to the eye as well.
But they were behind group horses.
Yeah, and they looked
trialled
good to
behind
the eye.
Handicap horses, like benchmark 80 horses.
And they weren't overly appealing to the eye either,
they just were not good. But I love the way that she's fresh. I love the way that she's got a light weight. She's a Group 1 winner. She's drawn soft. The jockey's riding her at a weight that he doesn't normally ride, which is always a good indication. Osmosis, the 3-year-old that won the Coolmore, again
Massive
draws
chance.
soft. Has a light-ish weight, 53. So he's getting weight from others, and he's not giving away too much weight to the rest. Kings of Gambit, I like everything you say about him. Private Eye, you were against him first up. He's drawn wide. He's got a big weight. He's got a lot to do.
In saying that, the way that he hit the line was exceptional.
You know what's going to come back to haunt me? I've been on him and tipped him twice this prep as Buenas Noches.
I was waiting.
I was
for you to
tossing
get
up
there.
between him and Cylinder in last start, and I went for Buenas Noches, and Cylinder won. I've gone with Cylinder this week in Melbourne, and I'm tipping. I'm hoping that Buenas Noches doesn't come out and blow us all away again and prove me right the first 2 times and wrong the third time. But what
it
a
could
race.
be. It could be a
I
very.
just really don't know where to go with this race.
Excellent.
I really don't know where to go.
So if you're gun to your head, what do you land on?
Gun to my head, I'm going with Osmosis because he's lightly weighted, well performed, is still on the up.
Yeah.
His trials have been very, very good. Drawn a little bit awkward, but with the speed in the race, he should end up. Rosehill is not a race track like Randwick over the sprints where you can be 3 wide with a bit of cover. You've got to be closer to the fence.
Yeah.
Because you've got a big turn to go around. Randwick, you've got a little dog leg. This is a proper corner. And they're going to be going real quick. So if you're wide, covering ground, and running quick, it does take its toll on you. So question marks as to where he gets in the run. But Rachel King and Jamie Carr, for me, possibly Quinella the race. There we have it.
All right, well, let's go straight into our best bets. Aaron, I'll start with you. What have you got for us?
I've got Rosehill, race 4, number 6, Schwartz. Lightly raced little colt from Zoostar Colt out of the O'Shea camp. He had the 3 starts, was very impressive winning on debut. Had no luck at the Valley, then came out and absolutely walked in Flemington. He's returned 3 pretty solid trials. So the first one was probably the best to the eye, but then he's trialled against really top quality horses. I think they've got him ready to go. I think this is the horse that they've got a huge opinion of, and J-Mac sticks aboard, which is a really good sign. I think it'd be very, very hard to beat. I am a little bit scared of Robrick, the Melbourne Invader, but that is my first of my best bets.
Mm-hmm.
And my second is Aft Cabin, which we just spoke about, Rosehill race 9. His first up run was sensational. Tricky race, as Glyn mentioned, but I think this horse is cherry ripe to be winning. It's a J-Mac double for me.
All right, Glyn, what about you? What's the best bet?
Mine's Storm Boy, I think, in the slipper. That's obviously the best race on the weekend, the most difficult race, but I think unbeaten going into it. He's got the best jockey in the world coming out to ride him. He's drawn soft. He's trained by Gay and Adrian, who wins slippers for fun, and Coolmore own, or part owned. So there's a lot to like about this horse. I just can't see him really getting beat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what are your other best bets?
So I've got another couple. So of course down in Melbourne, I like Cylinder. In the William Reid, that's race 8, number 10. Cylinder, he's a last start winner. He won the Newmarket, I think, from barrier 1. He gets every favour. Just needs a bit of luck to get off the fence and get going when everything else is probably trying to make a wide run. My next is in the Ranvet, that's Via Sistina. That's race 5, number 6. I think if this mare brings her European form, where she was 6.5 lengths in front of Dubai Honor, which won our Queen Elizabeth.
Yes.
In the spring, it's just such superior form. And then of course I like Immediacy, which is in the Rosehill Guineas. Brings some Melbourne form. I think he's a horse that's just got some improvement that we haven't really seen yet, and I think the big spaces at Rosehill and 10 furlongs will suit him down to the ground. And of course, as I mentioned, Storm Boy is my 4th pick my 4th best bet on the day.
Yep. So for Aaron's bet, it is $3.54. For Glyn's bet, it is $8.65. Also, with these bets, if 3 of the 4 legs of the multi get up, you do win the bet, and that is on the BTFU hub. So make sure you go to the BTFU hub on CrossBet and put those bets on with one click. One click, they really do make it easier for us at CrossBet. Let's move now to your Saturday doubles. What have we got for our Saturday doubles, guys?
Glyn?
Well, mine's
go for it, Glyn.
Mine's Stormboy. Yeah, I'm all over him like a rash.
He's very, very confident, Stormboy.
Yep.
And mine's Schwartz, as we just spoke about, race 4, number 6, Schwartz.
Yep, perfect. Obviously, a horse that runs in the top 2 is the Saturday double. If you didn't know, obviously we're bringing that in over the next few weeks. These horses must run in the top 2 of their race to win that bet. Just recapping on some rugby league, obviously.
I think, wait, before you do this, it's time to put your hat on, my friend.
I mean, I'm stuttering already. This is going to cut off too much circulation, but...
A bit like your South team, the Owen. You're 0-2.
Wait, I'm not going to say a word there. Let's recap though from our other show, the Scrum. Obviously, our multi was Panthers head-to-head. That will be from last night. Manly head-to-head. We had James Tedesco to score anytime and Tom Trbojevic to score anytime as well. It was $12.50, and you only need 3 of those 4 bets to get up as well in the multi. For you to win that bet. Keep in mind that Tom Trbojevic to score and Manly head-to-head is in one single same-game multi part of the bet. So you do need, I would imagine, 2 of the 3 bets to get up. And as I said, in the BTFU hub, guys, make sure you go straight into the BTFU hub to access all of those bets in one click. They make it so easy, so make sure you go ahead and do it. Now, I will wrap this up before I do lose all my circulation in my brain. Mace, what's your Friday fill-up?
Friday fill-up, we head to Scone, one of my favourite tracks to bet at, and it's in race 4, number 7, and I think it's Gentilishi. It's a Masara horse. Loved its runs last prep. Returned with 2 solid trials. Finds a highly winnable race. Not an absolute moral, but I think it will be extremely hard to beat. She's around the $2.70 mark. I think she'll get us off to a winner and into Slipper Day.
Thank God it's not just me struggling there with the pronunciation. Thanks for joining us again for Proper Punters, obviously the weekly show. So make sure you go to YouTube if there's any other shows that you've missed. We obviously have the Scrum, we have Proper Punters, and we have the show with no name with Renee Gardner and Darcy last week. We had a cracker episode the other day, didn't we?
Mate, I was sitting just there and I was in stitches for a big portion of it.
I'll tell you what, we both were. It was a cracker episode, so make sure you don't miss out on that one. And we also had a bit of a call out too there for Darcy to call out Curtis Scott, which you guys will be on the undercard for. So can't wait for that. Make sure you go to the BTFU website, btfu.com.au, and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube. We'll see you guys in the next one.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.